Alright, it's Stephen Sadler talking to you again about money and power, the secret history. And I want to talk to you just briefly about our military power. And God bless our men and women of service. I have the utmost respect, admiration, and love for them and compassion. And God bless them all in their service in Afghanistan, Iraq, or wherever around the world they are. But sometimes I think the way our leadership uses our military should be questioned. And that's the only reason I bring up our military. I think we should have a strong military. I think we have a good military. I have nothing but praise for our military, but how it's been used sometimes I think has been, we can be ashamed of even. In the case of some of the wars that have been trumped up for special interests, for precious resources as an example. What most Americans don't realize, as of 2008, we had over 820 military bases around the world. We're in over 135 countries. We maintain military bases, at least. I'm not talking about the ones I'm not supposed to talk about. We have over 1 million people that are in the service, serving. They've created a new army called AFRICOM, the African Central Command, in other words, or African Command, to protect the North African oil that's been discovered. So now all of a sudden we see all this talk about Tunisia and Libya. It's just all timing. It just so happens all these countries have oil. How interesting. But you realize we have about 98,000, say 100,000 troops in Afghanistan right now, and another 100,000 privately there, serving different capacities, serving our military, part of Halliburton's contract, Cheney's company, so they get all the servicing, and that's a lot of money. When you talk about 100,000 people on a payroll, now we're talking 200,000 people on a payroll, and then we go over to Iraq, and there's at least 50,000 and another 50,000. Who knows, it might be 150,000. It's hard to get accurate numbers, but we know there was at least 50,000 last I checked, active duty, and there's even more that are private companies, again, on the payroll of the United States of America. That's multiple cities of people. So we have an extremely large army that's keeping a presence in the Middle East. Perhaps that's needed. I'm not even saying that's wrong. I think we need to look at that and reflect on it and see, do we want to continue to pay for that? Because right now we're hurting. And what is it really gaining us? It's getting rich people richer. They still have control of the resources. But we're all hurting. If you look at the power of the United States, one of the best ways to look at it is in terms of the toys, you know, the machines, the instruments of war. And one of the most famous ones is a carrier. Now, to give you some perspective, Brazil, France, India, Russia, Thailand, China, the United Kingdom all have one aircraft carrier, a small one. Italy and Spain have two. But only the United States of America has a super carrier, which means it's easily double the capacity and power of any of these other older types of carriers. And we have 11, so we have more of them. We have more super carriers than all the other countries combined have just regular carriers. In addition to that, we have dozens of other air transport vehicles, things like Harrier jump jet platforms and helicopter platforms for marine landings and so forth. We have dozens of them. We also have stealth. No one else in the world has stealth like this. Well, Britain and some other countries have stealth fighters that we've given them and track with them, you know, partners with us. But we have an air capacity that is unrivaled by any of the enemies. We have satellite capacity. We have missiles unlike anyone else. We have a very technologically advanced and now very well trained and seasoned army, private armies that can go out and kill, and we don't even have to accept responsibility for it, and probably the most powerful intelligence network and money. Money is a very powerful weapon in war. So we've become not only a country that can defend itself well against any other powers, at least on a conventional battlefield platform, but we've become an empire around the world, and I don't think most Americans realize this. We think of ourselves as good people, and I think the average American is, and I think most of what America does, including its policies around the world, we've done a lot to help people. But we're increasingly becoming perceived as the evil empire as our military power sits in the backyards of all these countries. We assume that they want us there for protection, and the truth is most of these countries don't want us there. They want us out. And there's a resentment growing around the world as people get poorer and the rich get richer, and we're using military means to control the resources of other people's countries. We also set ourselves up for more wars, and that costs American people, both in lives and in money. That's one of the main causes of our economic conundrum, and that's one of the main reasons that we suffer.